Hello again, I'm Jeremy. I've met and worked with a lot of finance business partners in a lot of different sectors, and one of the main issues they have is how to handle difficult conversations. Handling difficult conversations is difficult for all managers, and most tend to shy away from having them, which means that small problems tend to fester and grow. Add to that, some managers tackle difficult conversations aggressively, which means they damage the relationship and leave the problem intact. This module is all about how to handle difficult conversations with skill. We'll start by looking at your context. We'll see that being influential in practice means knowing your external and internal stakeholders and choosing the best approach to match their needs and working styles. We'll then introduce some techniques that underpin impactful influencing and handling difficult conversations. And then we'll finish by giving you an opportunity to reflect on your context. Specifically, what you believe makes an impactful influencer, and how you might use the techniques we have reviewed to deepen your relationships with key stakeholders and handle difficult conversations while keeping those relationships intact. It will also help you prepare for further development to flex your approach in different circumstances and with different people. In the previous e-learning module, we invited you to reflect on the external influences on the college. Being a CFO means regular contact with banks and funding agencies, and often some of these other influences too. And of course, being a CFO means regular contact with a wide range of internal stakeholders, including the person to whom you report, those you manage, peers and governors, to name but a few. Often, when you are trying to provide an effective strategic finance business partnering service, or to initiate and lead change within your college, you will need to gain the support, or at very least, the understanding of more than one of those stakeholder groups. Each person will have their own views and interests about what you're trying to achieve, and you might find yourself frustrated by the time it takes to engage them. In addition, conversations managers call difficult are often those where they perceive they have an absence of authority to raise difficult issues, for example, challenging the boss or a peer, or they perceive as being subjective conversations lacking hard facts, for example, challenging a bad attitude, or perhaps they perceive there's likely to be a volatile or emotional response. These perceptions play on the mind because the likelihood of the conversation getting derailed is high. So the tools in this module are not about having the perfect and faultless conversation. They are about having a human conversation that's impactful. Things may get derailed, but the tools are scaffolds that help you get back on track. And of course, from time to time, we all try to take shortcuts to make things happen. But we also all know that without the engagement of stakeholders, leading change and providing strategic advice can be extremely difficult. Whether you're dealing with an overly enthusiastic curriculum colleague, a determined and dogmatic principal, a reluctant manager, a conservative and cautious bank manager, or a difficult and demanding governor, developing effective influencing skills will enable you to make a much fuller contribution to the success of your college. So let's take a look at how we interact with our stakeholders. Put simply, we can advocate our own point of view, or we can inquire into the other person's point of view. This gives us a simple four-box model of how our choices in communicating come across to others. If we predominantly advocate our position, we are seen as telling. On the other hand, if we predominantly choose to inquire, we are seen as asking. If we do neither very often, we might be seen as a passive observer. And if we judiciously balance high advocacy with high inquiry, it's possible to create more than by purely asking or telling. We call this generating. It's important to recognise each approach has its uses and drawbacks. You can now click on each box to see some examples of the things people might think and say when using each approach. Use this opportunity to reflect on your experience of others' use of advocacy and inquiry, and your opinion of them as impactful or otherwise.